Thank you so much for sitting today.
My pleasure.
So, year of the final season. Is there a point in time that you had to do again, just having the time again, like signing on?
You know, after season 3, we had obviously teed up a lot of loose ends, and at the same time, we knew at the end of that season we were going to have to move from shooting in Charlotte to shooting in Pittsburgh. So I think change was in the air for us, and as we started planning out our final, the season, the 4th season, it started to occur to me, and I kind of was in denial at first, but it started to occur to me that this is really the end of Lucas Hood's story. And so then, of course, we spent time trying to figure out how could we stretch that out for a 5th season. You know, we're Cinemax's highest rated show. We certainly wanted to stay on the air, but everything we did felt really contrived, and I just felt it was time that this story ended. And we have such a rabid fan base and such a opinionated fan base. I just knew that if we turned the show into something else in order to stay on the air, everybody would call bullshit on us. And if the worst thing that they're disappointed about is that we ended the show, then I'll take that over somehow losing our storytelling edge and going into a really murky kind of extended episodic thing that doesn't really feel organic to the show.
Yeah, I really wish more shows kind of took that and ran with it a little bit. Some of the best shows were more concise, you know. And
well, that's the thing, is like I'm a huge television fan, and when shows that I've been a great fan of hit that point and, you know, jump the shark or whatever, and then suddenly you're watching a season and all it does is kind of remind you of how great the show used to be. I don't want that. I would rather do a shorter lifespan, but never have anyone be able to say, well, that show got good, but then in the 4th season, you know, like I think we're delivering 4 spectacular seasons, and we'll bow out while we're still on top. You know?
And is season 4 shorter in episode number?
Season 4 is 2 episodes shorter. It's 8 episodes instead of 10. That's a financial consideration more than anything else. We moved, and we spent a lot of money moving and building sets, and at the same time we had a very concentrated story we wanted to tell, so the 8 episodes felt fine.
It's just like locations that we're filming. Does that ever have any, just over development with plots or even writing?
Well, no, I mean, it's always going to be Banshee, whether I'm shooting it in Charlotte or Pittsburgh. We're always going to write our show. What was nice about moving to Pittsburgh is that when we shot in Charlotte, there's a lot of things in Charlotte that don't look like Pennsylvania. So we could be shooting something, but we can't turn the camera that way, you know. In Pennsylvania, pretty much everything looks like Pennsylvania. So we had a little more freedom of how we would shoot the show, and we actually used that. What you'll see in season 4 that we didn't really do in the previous seasons is we really build out the physical town. You know, we use helicopter shots, and you suddenly see what the town actually looks like, because we had a town that could look like that. You know,
that's probably free and a lot of.
Yeah, it expands the scope of the show a bit. Yeah.
Speaking about families and just how rabid families is for the show, I'm sure you've witnessed it grow over the years. Do you read a lot of social media commentary and stuff like that?
I don't read a ton, to be honest, but there are people on the show who do and forward the good stuff. So I kind of have like the flipboard version of it, where I see the big ones, and once in a while, like I knew in season 3, the night that Deputy Siobhan was going to die, I knew there'd be a reaction, so I got on Twitter to see that, and it was an explosion. And you know, once in a while I'll look, and I have a Twitter feed, so I do see when people tag me, I'll see that. But I mean, they're pretty vocal about it. People have pretty strong opinions. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I just know a person who really felt that the series was very how do you feel about those, compliments to the series?
Well, that's, it was an ambitious show to try to get on the air. We were doing something, I think there's never been a show like Banshee on TV, that combination of pulp and action and drama, where we're doing these crazy fight sequences and these crazy stunts, and at the same time we're asking you to take our characters very seriously. And it was just something I felt I would want to watch. And Cinemax was in a position to take a risk because they had never done original programming yet, so we all kind of jumped in together, and I feel like people responded the way they were supposed to, and the show became a hit, and it's been very satisfying all along. It's frustrating, obviously, to be on a startup network and sort of watch the shows they put on after us sort of get to experience more because we were sort of the first through the door. But at the same time, it was an honor to be their first series, and we'll always be sort of, the show that built Cinemax. So, that's something we get to keep. It's just great having, we have a great cast, we had a great group of writers, and you go from having this whole world, you're part of this world for 4 years, and then we wrap production in August, and suddenly it's all just gone, and like you go from being the man to being just another unemployed writer, sitting in his underwear trying to write something else, so you miss production. Production makes you pull your hair up, but at the same time there's nothing like it, and we write to be produced. It's not fun writing stuff hoping to get it produced, which is where I'm back to now. Just got to try to get that next thing on the air.
Yeah, do you have any other TV shows or?
Yeah, I'm developing a half hour for HBO and a 1 hour for Cinemax, and we'll see. It's never, it's the opposite of a sure thing. It's the odds are heavily not in your favor, but
the shows
we'll see.
The shows I feel like a lot get started, you hear about, and then for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I've learned some of those tricks, but we won't know. You never know till all the stars have to line up to get a show on the air. So we'll see.
It seems like a trip.
There's plenty of brilliant pilots that never get made. So we'll see.
Well, you got a good foundation and base here with the show. So
and I know all the people, so I know who to call and nag, and it helps to be on the inside, but we'll find out how much it helps. This is a really hard season to promote because there are so many surprises. Like literally, the first 10 minutes of the first episode is going to blow people's minds. So I can just say that it's you're not going to find anyone quite as we left them at the end of season 3. A lot has changed, and Lucas and Carrie have a lot of ground to make up for. They're at the lowest points they've ever been at because of how we ended season 3, and Lucas's inability to rescue Job has weighed heavily on him and kind of destroyed him. And Banshee's going to have its first ever serial killer. I'll give you that. So. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.